Feel incredible!
It's not a cartoon, it's anime!
Yes! Welcome to another episode of Animeshun. Squad is back in full effect.
Full effect.
You know what it is. We are back. You know what we do. We debate anime. We talk our shit. We have our one-offs. That's what we do out here in these streets on the Animation Podcast. This week, it is Rob's pick.
It is my pick.
As you can see, the backgrounds, at least with Rob and myself.
We're here, Cerebro.
Yep, X-Men the animation, man. X-Men the anime, dog. I think it was initially called X-Men 2011 when it first came out. At least the Japanese version. I think it's called, I forgot what it's called now. I think pretty much I had some factual actuals about that. But yeah, it's Rob's pick. He picked the X-Men anime. It's on Netflix if you want to watch along with us. We do episodes 1 through 4. Next week will be episodes 5 through 8. Brennan!
Happy New Year, everybody. I don't think we said it
New Year already. We did. Didn't we? Yeah.
I don't think nobody said anything.
We didn't say it, I guess, so it doesn't count. Now
Happy
it
New
is.
Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, y'all. Yeah.
Y'all are hilarious.
Brennan,
What up?
do you have any factuals?
No, I don't. No, so
Dropping the ball in 2021. Damn.
all right, so we're watching X-Men. This is actually a really interesting collaboration on paper between Marvel and Anime. It's called Marvel Anime, and it's pretty much a series of 4 anime shows. That this isn't just a standalone series. That actually had 2 direct-to-movie films produced in a collaboration between Marvel Entertainment and Japanese animation studio Madhouse. We already know Madhouse. I'll talk a little bit more about them. But it's pretty much Iron Man, Wolverine, X-Men, and Blade. And it was aired in Japan on Animax between October 2010 and September 2011. And the English language version aired in North America on G4 between July 2011 and
G4.
April. I know, right? April 2012. And each of the series was written by a guy named Warren Ellis. And pretty much all of them kind of featured Japan as their major setting for their storyline, which is pretty much almost all anime anyway. Talking about that writer, Warren Ellis, born in 1968. He is a British comic book writer, novelist, and screenwriter. He's best known as a co-creator of several original comic series, including Transmetropolitan, which is from...
Oh, Transmetropolitan? Yeah, okay, I've read a little bit of that.
1997, yeah, you got excited. 1997 to 2002.
Yes. Transmet's cool.
Hey.
I know that one. I so rarely get that reference. I get that reference.
So funny. Global Frequency, 2002, 2004, and Red, which was also made into feature films, Red and Red 2. He's written several Marvel series, including The Astonishing X-Men, Thunderbolts, Moon Knight, and Extremis.
He did Red?
Yeah. And the story arc for the Iron Man, which is the basis of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But only the Iron Man 3, actually.
Oh.
Which makes so much sense to me. So Madhouse was founded in 1972. This is one of the foundational, or like one of the biggest players in the anime game. Like so many of the other studios that we talked about are derivatives of people who have worked for Madhouse. They are one of the biggest OGs there is. Talking about like when you talk about some of the original anime or like the anime that people just like nostalgia, like, oh, Ninja Scroll, like kind of thing, like Perfect Blue, Vampire Hunter D, Trigun, like Black Lagoon, Death Note, Paprika. Like
Trash gun.
But
Get this man.
hater. And then Parasite the Maxim, which we actually watched on here, as well as the first season of One Punch Man. The list is insane, like to the point where you go to the Madhouse's Wikipedia, which I encourage anyone to do. Like they literally don't say, here's a list of episodes. They say, here's a list of here's a list of shows we've made. They're like, here's the list that shows we've made by like every 5 years, because we can't even just give you a straight list. So like, here's pre year 2000, here's 2000, 2005, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, because they just have so much going on. And then the director.
Do they have a website?
Madhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should,
Yeah.
right?
Director Fuminori Kizaki is the guy who directed this. Just for the record, what I was referring to was the Wikipedia on that, by the way, Ice. But director Funimura Kazaki, he's directed some things that we're actually quite familiar with. I'm going to start with something that, only the real ones are going to really recognize is Bayonetta Blood Fate. The only real reason I say that is the only reason I know who Bayonetta is because she's a character on Super Smash Brothers. And he would.
The games are really good though.
Never played them. All I know is Super Smash Brothers, and I hate Bayonetta. He directed the Afro Samurai series as well as the movie, and a few other shows that I didn't know, so I didn't take note. And he also worked in the animation department for some classics, Yu Yu Hakusho and Lupin the Third. He also did the prop design for Batman Ninja. So the pedigree for this is really, really good, mixed, awesome. But then Iron Man 3 is just like, you're like, you wrote Iron Man 3, kind of thing. Yeah. So
I remember watching.
Well,
Iron Man 3,
Shane Black wrote Iron Man 3.
You said what? Well, it says
I said he might have written the comic that
he
was based off of.
He did the comic that was based off of. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said an extremist story arc of Iron Man, which was the basis for the Marvel Cinematic Universe film Iron Man 3. Yeah, so extremist story arc of Iron Man. So there's a specific story arc of Iron Man. And I grew up reading comics, but we can get into all that later. So that ends the factual actuals for this particular anime. But one thing I'd like to point out to Ice is that this is a collaboration between an anime studio in Japan and a American idea and corporation. Does this count to you as anime?
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. I feel like it is.
Okay, that's all. So I'm done. That's it.
That's it.
All right. Episode
was that
1
okay?
through 4.
Damn, y'all sound disappointed. Like, what else did you want?
No, it was good. It was good. No problem, man.
You sounded disappointed.
It's coming out
The sound effect you made, Keenan, you were like, and then went into your thing. I was like, damn, bro, like, I'm sorry.
No. I was going. That was.
Are you not entertained, Negro?
No, that response was from Ice's response.
Okay, got it.
That's what it was.
Thank you. All right, just making sure. I was like, all right, let me pull some gladiator shit up in here.
So this week, X-Men anime. We're gonna do episodes 1 through 4. Rob, lay it up, baby.
I'll take us through it. Actually, before we jump into the story, obviously we all probably know who the X-Men are. I'm just going to run through like the characters real quick because I don't really get into who they are in the synopsis. So Cyclops, leader, he's got laser vision powers. Jean Grey.
I'll say this, if you like Cyclops, you the police. That's basically what it is. Like if you like Cyclops,
you the ops.
There's a 10 out of 10 chance that you snitch.
You like you know what's funny? Brennan seems like a Cyclops fan, dog.
Bro, you're trash, dog.
He seems like a Cyclops.
You're trash, dog.
I'm not shocked at this. One of my questions is about Cyclops. I fucking hate this guy.
So, this dude is trash. And this series didn't do anything to help him, like, make me
all.
like him more.
Matt.
Go ahead, Brennan.
So,
go ahead.
So,
he's a leader.
Yeah, so.
And I'm a leader.
So, for me, I'm always a fan of leadership. I've always been a student of leadership.
Told you, I knew it.
And Cyclops in the show and in the comic books had a different role than in this show, I would say. A very different role than in this show. In the sense of, like, Cyclops is normally weak sauce. Straight up. Like, he is probably normally, like, the weakest X-Men of all of them. And for some reason in this show, like, his laser in this show is just like just decimates everything. Like I'm just like, yo, this
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just like, yo, like normally Cyclops will like shoot it and people will be like, oh, that okay, ow. And in this show, he's like, okay, I got him, and then they just literally disappear. And I'm just like, what?
But remember, he could turn up though. Remember, he can always kind of turn his.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying like, and if you like watch the X-Men series or even like a lot of the comic iterations of the comics, X-Men, like he's normally lower tier X-Men, like no question. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
why they got to make him a leader.
Put him up against anybody. I mean, for me, he's the Captain America of this show. You know what I'm saying? Like, or of the X-Men world, because he pretty much is the person that gives them the direction, keeps them on path, and he does a good job of that. Normally, this show different, but normally he does do a good job of that. And for me, like, I never really liked this necessarily. I never liked his power. I just, you know, and also the condition that he has because of it. I was just like, that would just suck in general, the whole world and Jade. Or Jade, I'm sorry, and Red, Scarlet, that's the word. The whole word in Scarlet.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm a huge fan that like he's the one who really does pull them together. He's the one like when he's not around, like shit goes, it doesn't work. Like that's the thing is y'all can talk all the shit you want about Cyclops. When Cyclops ain't on the team don't work. The X-Men are not the X-Men without Cyclops. He's the only one that has to be there for them to be the X-Men. The only one. So for me, I'm a huge fan of
that's what you call a plot armor.
cohesive.
Right
He's a cohesive character. He's a strong leader, and he gets shit done. And I'm a fan of that.
I wouldn't necessarily say strong leader because it's some shit that happened on his watch. A lot of bullshit.
I'm saying like
that has happened on his watch.
If we talk about
within his own,
if we talk about the X-Men,
shit.
and first of all, he also got the baddest chick with the most power out of everybody. But
He don't got the baddest chick at all.
I mean, she can destroy everything. In the sense of the baddest, in the sense of destroy. Rogue is the baddest, but I'm saying the baddest power wise. Like she's literally like the top. Like the top of the food chain was like, yo.
Cyclops has got some pull between Psylocke, Emma Frost, and Jean Grey.
Bro,
Cyclops has got some pull.
I'm just saying,
He got his girl taken from him by a 5'5".
He pulls what he wants. He's like, oh, I'm attracted to power. You know what I'm saying?
I give him that.
Yeah.
I give him that.
And
He got his lady taken though.
And he gets
Did he not get his lady taken?
It happened one time.
Get his lady
Listen,
taken
the
by
X-Men,
5'2".
the X-Men are some of
He
the
moved
most
on.
drama. The X-Men are some of the most drama-laden like superheroes in the history of any kind of narrative. Like the shit that they go throughout the show, the series, the comic book series is absolutely ridiculous. So yes, shit happens on this man's watch. But what doesn't happen on this man's watch? Like you can literally name it and the X-Men are a part of it. Like everything that happened in the Marvel Universe, like they get fucked. You know what I'm saying? Like pretty much by everything. And he's the leader who is steadfast through all that shit, holds them together, and anytime he's not around, they fucking fall apart. Cyclops for the win. Go on.
So let me get to the second character then. So Jean Grey, who we won't see for very long, Cyclops' girlfriend, telekinetic powers, turns into the Phoenix Force.
Girlfriend.
Yeah, it's at times girlfriend. Then there's Beast, super smart, strong, furry dude covered in blue fur. Wolverine, everybody knows him, one of the biggest like Marvel guys, out there right now. Claws, healing factor. Storm, basically a walking goddess on Earth. Crazy weather powers. And then we've got Professor X, the de facto, like the Splinter of the X-Men, basically another telepath, wheelchair bound guy.
Did you say
stays back
Storm's
at the compound.
whole thing was like walking goddess on Earth? You go ahead and talk about these Black Queens, Rob. I'm here for this. That was beautiful.
She is, man. She's got like she's insane. She's on my Ultimate Alliance team for sure every time. Emma Frost, strong psychic. Has switched allegiances from time to time. She's been good guy, bad guy. She's a little bit of here. She's a little bit of there. Armor. This is the kind of the character that we meet here. Hisaka, I think her name is. Don't know much about her, but basically she manifests armor with psionic powers, and then
Most
Mastermind, part of the Brotherhood. It's kind of
Most boring
part of the
power ever,
Brotherhood, but make people see illusions. So with that, we'll get right into episode 1. Episode starts off with one of the X-Men's most iconic battles in, comics, fighting against Jean Grey in her form as the Phoenix Force. She's completely out of control. This is like she's hulked out and she's threatening to go supernova, destroy the X-Men that are there, including Beast, Storm, Wolverine, Professor X on the conference call with Cerebro and, Cyclops, her again, sometimes boyfriend, and basically the rest of the world. They're trying to talk sense into her, their friend and fellow X-Men, but she's just gone too far and is being mind controlled, by some other villain. They suspect Mastermind is involved. And he's watching with some of his minions on the side. They do like a quick kind of pan. It looks like it might be, the Brotherhood there. Didn't see Magneto, but, that's the vibe I got. Cyclops tries to approach her and she picks him up, like just shredding him, like even like ripping his clothes off with her raw power. And in the background, he sees Emma Frost behind her and suspects is like she's the one controlling her mind.
He was looking like Goku in the end of the Namek series.
He was hurt. And in a moment of clarity, Gina's just like, Cyclops, you've got to kill me because like I'm out of control. And he refuses to do so. And instead, she, I guess, uses her last moment of clarity to just basically self-destruct and leave him her necklace. And he's just emotionally destroyed by this. After that, we fast forward a year. Professor X is, giving exposition about how the world is populated with mutants and how they face discrimination and oppression. He opened up a school that is a safe place for them to learn and to better use their powers, and the best and strongest make it a part of his elite protection and fighting force, the X-Men. And they usually face off against a group of mutant supremacists known as the Inner Circle. In this show, usually it's known as the Mutant Brotherhood, but here it's the Inner Circle. But since the death of Jean Grey, they've broken up. But the professor is plagued by these visions of like a boy whose mind he can't read, and he soon gets a phone call from a family in Japan whose daughter Hisako we see kidnapped by robots, not sentinels, but just some regular robots. And they fear it's because she's once exhibited mutant powers as a child. And with that, Professor, lights up the bat signal, lights the beacons, and tries to assemble the X-Men. And we see what all of them have been up to. Cyclops is still grieving. Beast is, teaching a college class. Storm is living her best life on a cruise, fighting some pirates, and Wolverine is just struggling to get through LAX security because of his metal skeleton. But they all answer the call with the exception of Cyclops. When they get there, Professor X, gives them kind of the mission briefing. They're off after this girl. They got to go save her. And they kind of comment how weird it is that she's only showed her power once. And most of the time, like, those kind of stick around for good. But what's also weird is that anybody that goes looking for this girl just seems to meet unexplained accidents. And even weirder still, Cerebro can't detect any mutants in the area when they know they're there. Beast suggests like maybe there's some mechanical error, goes to check it out, while Storm and Wolverine go and try and bring Cyclops back to the team. Beast ends up finding nothing wrong with Cerebro, which I didn't mention that if you don't know what Cerebro is, it's basically this machine that allows Professor X to like talk with mutants from anywhere using his telepath powers. It's like an amplifier for his powers. And they figure out someone must be blocking them out. Meanwhile, the others find out Cyclops is still
in Japan. That's where the girl lives.
Yeah, that's where Hisako. Meanwhile, Cyclops is still at Jean's grave, mourning over the necklace, and Wolverine shows up and is basically just starts, insulting him, shit-talking him for not moving on. And Cyclops,
stop being a bitch, man.
He blasts him with his laser, and I mean, it looked pretty bad, but it's Wolverine, so he bounced back, and they're about to fight, but Storm steps in the middle and is just like, listen. It's what Jean would have wanted. So, you got to come back into the team. And he really makes them wait for it. But when he thinks back on a time with Jean, he realizes it's true and, joins them just before they leave for Japan, which, Professor X is
come back all clean shaven because he was looking raggedy.
He was
fucked up. He was fucked up. But I give it to him. It's been a year. So, like, that's not that far removed from a traumatic situation.
Like a few years for the love of your life.
I give him that. I understood it.
I agree.
It's tough,
bro.
Deep underground in northern Japan, the U-Men, a group of mad scientists devoted to stealing organs from mutants to obtain their powers, are kind of watching their radar as they
Let's
detect.
just stop there for a second. How fucked up is that? That's it.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up.
That makes me think of organ harvesting in the world now.
It's so fucked up.
It happens. But they see on their radar the X-Men's Blackbird is coming in their plane, and this one that's hooked up to this giant robotic machine named Kick activates the anti-mutant protocol, while this other guy named Sublime, who's got like this robotic eye or something bulging out of his head, calls up Mastermind, who's just like sipping champagne somewhere in the base, and he's just like, all right, Xavier, like maybe I'll come visit you at your home one day, On the plane, Beast checks his mobile Cerebro device and sees they still can't scan the area even when they're over top of it. They land and they talk with Hisako's parents, and they say, actually a bunch of mutants in the area have disappeared, but most families have kept it quiet since mutants are really looked down on here. Based on some intel Wolverine has heard, they immediately suspect the U-Men are involved. And while they're talking about that, they get a call that somebody in the area has lost their mutant grandchild. He disappeared while making a delivery for the liquor store he works for. So they all go out to head to investigate. Wolverine and Cyclops head to the kid's work and find out from his boss that he sent him out actually 2 weeks ago, not recently. And Storm and Beast go to the family to find out more, only to find out like they weren't the ones that called in the first place. So this was all a trap to lure the X-Men out. And soon Wolverine and Cyclops are attacked by a ship that deploys a bunch of robots to attack them on their motorcycles, and a few more are deployed against Beast and Storm in their Hummer. The robots chase down the Hummer, but Beast drives onto a frozen lake, and Storm uses the ice to, stop the robots and beam some electricity to take out the others. One manages to escape, and she flies after it and sees it escape through like a hologram projection in the hillside. Meanwhile, Wolverine has recognized the ship as U-Men tech and is just shredding the U-Men with his claws. He's Cyclops, you know, like you said, he's not too far removed, so he gets emotional on his first fight back in the field, and though his tricked out motorcycle is able to take out like a bunch of robots, he gets a little reckless and is knocked off his bike, but Wolverine's there to save him. And Cyclops, like Brennan mentioned, his blast on this show is a little bit more OP than I remember it being, and just like, you know, Dragon Ball Z beams a bunch of robots away.
Got the Gala gun in his eyes.
Absolutely. Afterwards, Wolverine tells Cyclops, like, hey, you got to focus up and not lose yourself in this. You know, this is real out here.
You gonna talk to me about self-control, bitch? You gonna talk to me about self-control? Fuck you.
You the last one.
But just for the record,
and that's gonna come around.
If you got Wolverine telling me.
Just for the record,
True.
That's another favorite thing of mine about Cyclops. Is he's like the only person that's not a villain that like talks shit with Wolverine. Like nobody else talks shit with Wolverine. Cyclops like fuck you. Like all the time. It's pretty funny to me.
Wolverine needs it, honestly. He needs it.
He does need it.
Beast checks in with Professor X, who's concerned by these developments, and he reaches out to the Sasaki Institute, which is the Japanese equivalent of his Xavier Academy, but he's unable to reach anybody there, and a message says that they've been closed. So he's like, oh, that's suspicious. The strike team reconvenes and journeys to where Storm thought the robot escaped to. It's basically this abandoned hospital that would serve the U-Men's purpose as well. They don't get far when they basically come across the mutilated form of the grandson that had disappeared. And he further transforms into this huge monster. And Beast takes one look at this dude through his special glasses and just lets everybody, he's got to go. He's too gone. He's too far gone.
Like, this guy just... He's too far gone.
Rob and I was joking about that. It was like, hey, he put his glass because it was like a progression. Like first Wolverine said it, then Storm said it, then Beast put his glasses on. Was like, yeah, this motherfucker's done. Get him out of here.
He's over 9,000 guys. He gotta go. He's over 9,000.
Get his ass up out of here.
His scouter went over 9,000.
Yeah, he's over 9,000. Because Cyclops is, he's reluctant to attack a fellow mutant, but the monster is strong enough to just grab Storm even after she shocks him. And Cyclops is the one with the best shot. He's hesitating out of guilt, but he does take it, and it basically ends up killing the boy.
Destroys his ass.
Yeah,
that's his strongest beam ever. Really, honestly, I've never seen in that moment. It was like it took up the whole fucking place.
Yeah, it was huge. But Wolverine afterwards just punches him for hesitating and endangering Storm, you know, again, telling him, like, you got to harden if you're going to be our leader, like, you got to harden your heart to this kind of stuff because, like, we're going to be facing some difficult stuff. And if you're going to be our leader, you got to be that guy that's going to make the tough choice. But still, he's like, hey, I'm still on your team, though, offers him a hand, and Cyclops does not take it.
He James Harden his ass.
He really. Further into the lab they go, and eventually they reach a room with several like stasis pods, and inside two of them are some persons of interest to the X-Men. One of Hisako, the girl that they're looking for, and the other is Emma Frost. The X-Men are pretty surprised to find one of the leaders of the Inner Circle here, and Wolverine is off the bat, just like pretty much game to kill her right off the strength that Cyclops saying he suspects she might have been controlling Jean as the Phoenix, but Cyclops is actually the one to stop him and says like, hey, when the time comes, like, I'll be the one to kill her. In the meantime, they need to rescue Hisako, and Emma Frost, they think might be somebody that can help them. When she wakes up, they question her like, you know, what are you doing in this facility? She claims basically to have nothing to do with what happened to Jean, and it's like, I left the Inner Circle before that fight even went on because I thought they lost their way. They weren't doing what I thought they were, you know, what they said they were going to be doing. And when Hisako awakens, she runs over to Emma for safety. So there's clearly some trust already there. And she says, like, when I left the Inner Circle, I basically began teaching other mutant children how to use their powers, including Hisako, since the Xavier Institute was closed for some reason. And her parents,
she does it all over Zoom.
All over Zoom.
She's like, I'm a Zoom teacher, if you didn't know.
And when she heard about Hisako's disappearance, she came to Japan and was also captured. Some of the X-Men are still suspicious of the story because of her abilities to, you know, mind control, but Hisako seems to trust her. Elsewhere, the U-Men basically decide this is a good opportunity to collect more data on the X-Men and send their robots to attack. But the X-Men are well equipped to take care of business, and that they do. Elsewhere, Xavier tries to contact them with Cerebro, but the signal is still blocked. And the only thing that you can still clearly see
is Cerebro, the door to Cerebro.
The door to Cerebro from the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Which seems seem to take in this anime a lot of the stuff seems to be kind of based off of that look.
For sure.
But the signal is still blocked, and the only thing he can see is the young boy whose mind he still can't read. So some sort of vision that he's having. After beating up the robots in expert fashion, the X-Men look for a way out, but are confronted by one of the U-Men, Kick, the one that's hooked up to the huge, enormous robot body, and he seems to have a plan for all of them. You know, he traps Wolverine with his giant magnet and pins Cyclops to the wall so he can't shoot his laser beams, trapping his arms. And when Beast jumps to attack him, he just knocks him aside.
The Beast was always the weakest physical X-Men to me, for the record. Always. Like, every time Beast gets in a fight, he just is like, I'm strong. And everybody's like, no, you're not.
He's jacked. He's huge.
No, I'm just saying,
but he be getting smacked up though, bro. In the cartoons, though. I don't know about the comic books.
He just like jump. He just attacks.
Yeah, he just jumps and attacks like a beast. That's pretty much his whole power. Is I'm just going to attack you with brute force. I'm like, you're a literal genius, and that's the best thing you can think of. Like, he's like, no, I'll throw it.
no exosuit, no nothing like that.
Nah, it's like you literally built this whole lab. You can't dealing with the X genome, and the best thing you can do is make yourself not blue. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
create some weapons or something, dog. So you
something.
Can have weapons on your
He got the glasses.
Yeah.
And then he don't even fight for real. Like,
the most useful
jumps.
The most useful thing
Beast attacks.
And the most useful thing he does in most fights is like, I'm gonna throw Wolverine on you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he does grab Wolverine and be like, I mean, Wolverine's 5'2", so
yeah, Wolverine is extremely small and terrifying.
But yeah, so Storm powers up to blast him with some electricity, but he basically just uses Wolverine as like a human shield. And even Emma Frost can't like penetrate his insane mind. But when he least expects it, Beast basically assists Cyclops together, and they are able to blast this guy away. Once again, a huge blast from Cyclops. But he uses mind though. But I like that. Yeah,
he's like, I touched the side of your thing because I can climb shit.
Like a beast.
Exactly.
But Kick doesn't go down that easy. He picks himself back up and goes straight after Hisako. And Emma Frost moves to protect her, but when they're attacked, it's actually Hisako who manifests her powers again, turning psionic energy into this suit of armor that she uses to just pummel this dude. But she loses control and starts attacking the X-Men as well. And it isn't until Emma basically talks her down that she's finally able to, calm down and return to normal. And with that, most of them are starting to be like, hey, Cyclops, like, I don't think she's the one. I don't think she's the one doing this. But they are able to free the rest of the mutants, prisoners from the U-Men. But the guy, Sublime, with the bulging eye, is able to escape. Finally, as they load the prisoners onto the bus, Kick, actually still alive, crawls out of the building and launches another attack at Hisako, this time without her armor on. And Emma steps in the way to take the blast. And in this moment, she manifests a second mutation where her whole body turns to diamond, absorbing the blast and protecting Hisako. Everybody is... Do you want to say something?
Vampires. I was going to say, remind me of the vampires of... what is that? What is that movie that with Patrick?
Twilight?
Yeah, they turn into diamonds or whatever. Like,
Patrick Patterson.
What's his name?
Robert Patterson. Same thing.
Patrick, Robert, it's all the same.
You talk about NFL quarterbacks and shit.
Everybody's kind of freaked out by this second transformation, but there's like no time to talk about it right now. There's this rampaging U-Man, he goes straight for the bus, goes right after the civilians. But Hisako and Wolverine team up, take him down and kill him for good. Beast scans Emma with the special glasses, determines she's not too far gone. We don't need to kill this one. She's transformed again, which can happen to mutants, he says, in a heightened emotional state. But unfortunately, the second mutation can also trigger a condition called the Damon Hall syndrome, which can cause the mutants to lose control and turn into like some kind of monster form in some cases.
Like the dude did.
I was gonna say what I think. I don't know if you said this or not, but the reason why Kick even looked like that was because of Wolverine.
Yeah, he cut him in half.
Fucked him up, yeah.
And then he just said that when he saw him, he's like, the top half is still going.
Yeah.
I was like,
Wolverine is so funny.
We had jokes in here, yeah.
I said, God damn.
But after they return the kidnapped mutants home and Hisako to her parents, they're very happy, very grateful. Serve them all a nice lunch while they discuss what to do next. And B says, like, we got to take Emma back to New York with us. We got to take her back to the Institute so we can give her basically his vaccine for the syndrome. And when Hisako overhears this, she's like,
COVID.
Yeah, I got the COVID vaccine back in New York, so you got to come with me. And Hisako overhears this and is like, I got to go too because I got to basically finish my training. Cyclops is skeptical, but he's basically outvoted and is like, fine.
Cyclops is not going for it, boy.
Cyclops is like,
hey,
I do not trust
I
you.
saw it. I know what I saw.
Yeah.
I know what I saw.
I feel that. I think you need to have that skepticism.
He's probably going to end up being
it?
right. That's how, like, just because they don't let him let it go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
could be. But the ride back isn't too smooth, however. On the way, they are attacked by another transformed mutant, and Wolverine heads out.
Was so random.
He just goes out and just takes it out.
Was that fight scene not weird, like hard to follow?
That was the dumbest fight scene I've ever seen in anything.
I was like, what is going? I can't see. I thought something was wrong with my TV. I'm like, dog, like
it was just like a bunch of lines and like flashes. That's what it was.
I literally wrote here.
They was trying to, show the wind and stuff, and I'm like, dog, this is terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I literally wrote here. I'm not even going to pretend that I understand what happened during that fight scene.
He just ended up dead. I'm like, wait, what did he do?
Like he was like dragging Wolverine on the ground, and then somehow Wolverine jumps back up into the ship. I really don't.
First of all,
understand
and also the whole logic of like Storm can fly. Beast can claw himself onto the ship and is strong enough to hold onto it. Wolverine volunteers to go outside of the fucking hypersonic airplane and fight something. Yeah. Like, what? You know what I'm saying?
And the weird part is, too, there was something messed up with the subtitles because I was watching it on Netflix, watching the sub, and they said the line, they gave it to Beast that said, I'll take care of it. And then I see Wolverine out there, and I'm like, what the fuck? Wow. So there was some weird stuff going on with the subtitles there. Yeah, I didn't really understand that.
They ran out of budget on that episode.
Yeah, they were just like, we just got to get this out. We'll say it's a stylized. So anyway, they finally get to the basically the facility, and they Xavier welcomes them to the team. Hey, you're part of the family now. But the other thing that they realize is that, Emma's like, hey, I recognize this dude. Like, he was part of the, inner circle training school, but like, I don't know what happened to him. He certainly wasn't like this last time I saw him. And Beast basically says that he fell victim to this Damon Hall syndrome. This is what can happen to somebody. So they get him into the lab, and for some reason they decide to do the analysis of this guy in front of everybody. And when shit goes sideways and he turns into like this hollowed out like shell of a husk of himself, everybody gets real freaked out.
Stupid.
Take him somewhere else, especially the person that you're like, hey, you might have what this guy has, and just to like see him do that, that's bad bedside manner. Beast, we got to figure something out.
For the record, I feel like Beast might be in general like the most Rob-like character on the show, but who am I?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
I would absolutely not have been like, all right, everybody, like, we're about to check this guy out. Come on into the lab with me. I'd be like,
that's true.
You guys go hang out with the pool table like they do later.
That's true. That's true. But I feel like you are still the most like Beast. I would 100% agree with that, Brennan.
Thank you.
All right. I'll take it as a compliment. I don't know if it is meant as one.
I just said, Rob, you're an invaluable member of the team, but we question your ability with hands.
Great.
Oh, I think Rob would get scrappy, bro. I think Rob would get scrappy, dog.
I think Rob will do whatever it takes to avoid a fight.
Because I know what these hands can do, Brennan. I know what they can do. I know what they're capable of.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about, Rob. Talk your shit,
Rob. There you go. Thank you.
The man that avoids fights, he doesn't avoid fights. That means he knows he's dangerous. He's probably the most dangerous, man.
Right.
He said, hey, don't you ever come for my recap again. Don't you ever come for my recap again. I ain't forget.
That stock has not been bought by Edwards Enterprises.
All right. I think you're overlooking some things, but anyway, they have a quick question to Emma in the inner circle. What are they up to? And she's like, Hey, listen, I didn't have anything to do. We weren't doing experiments like the U-Men were doing. So I don't know what this is about. I left, and Storm is even just like, I heard that they had disbanded. So they have no idea what's going on, where this guy came from. And Beast is just like, I can't even figure out if this dude was at a U-Men facility or not. So they got no answers. Beast, then does get started on the analysis of Emma and Hisako, gives them the vaccine, so they shouldn't, transform themselves. Xavier also lets them know that, whatever is blocking Cerebro signal hasn't stopped. So it wasn't that facility. It doesn't seem like it's Emma Frost, but we still can't detect anything in that area of Japan. So they have to have some other facility in the area. He also asked Hisako if she knows anything about Sasaki Institute, but she's like, I don't really know anything about that. I'm just assuming that's probably going to come back up later down the line.
It was fishy how she answered that. Like, I was like, what's
She's
up
like,
with
I
that?
have heard of it. Maybe when I was younger.
Exactly. Like, what? Like, that was stupid.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that's about. But knowing that there's still more for them to do, Xavier tells Beast like, hey, our job isn't done yet. We're going to have to keep looking into this mystery and keep digging. And that's where we're going to go with episode 5 and onward.
Yes. Thank you, Rob. The recap as always.
Those episodes went by pretty fast. They're 22 minutes without the intro and the outro, so it's probably like a 19. It was they went by quick. Great recap. Does that tickle your fancy? Was that a good recap, Brendan? Or
No, it was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Besides Brendan questioning Rob's hands.
Yeah.
Damn, Brennan.
Honestly, if you think about it, Rob's the biggest one out of all of us. He's what, 6'1", 2, like, were you 6'1", 190?
What am I, groomsman, Brennan?
Oh, yeah.
Just because I love and respect you doesn't think I think you have hands. Like I
got 10 years of martial arts training, Brennan. I have a black belt. I took weapons classes.
Hey, man, look,
Wait. Time out. What?
I didn't know any of that, for the record.
I didn't know any of that right now either.
There's no way I haven't told you.
You stated weapon classes. No. He stated weapon
downplayed.
classes. He stated
You
weapon
always said, like,
classes
I
before.
dabbled in martial arts a little bit.
Yeah, you
just
just
never said.
You just said like
He
be like-
stated weapons classes before. He stated that.
I'm just saying, like, damn, Brennan.
You have a black belt?
I stand corrected.
In what?
In Okinawan Goju-Ryu. Hard, soft style.
I don't know exactly what that is, but
Sounds terrifying. It sounds terrifying.
but still, black belt in anything shows discipline and shows some type of skill. And Rob
I
is the
basically-
person. That's why
I
he
did it
said,
until the end of high
He
school.
will fuck you up, bro. That goes for probably goes for all of us. Hey, man.
I'm not gonna lie. My safety meter with you has gone up tremendously in this moment.
I appreciate it.
I've already said I can see Rob having Rob double R. Rob has rage, like the Rob rage. Fuck off, man!
Mm-hmm.
And then
Bro,
once
if
he
he
gets there,
has
it's
black
like,
belt, that's like that's the opposite.
Push
of
up these
having rage.
glasses.
I'm saying once he gets there, once he gets to that point,
Rob,
he's gonna stay calm.
Rob, so we know what's your line before you go there. Like, what's your line that you give somebody before you just, black belt the fuck out there?
I don't think he knows because he's probably never given that line.
I don't. It's happened a couple times, but sparingly. I don't have like a go-to line. It's usually it's I don't know. It's usually like, hey, like this. If you keep going down this road, man, something's gonna happen, and that's usually like, all right, because they look at me and they think, what you guys think? They're just like, all right, like, what are you gonna do? And then. Listen, it's been a while. I'm not going to say I've been keeping up on this training, but that shit's baked in there.
Yo,
all
let me
right.
tell you something. Rob has the perfect cover up for a fucking superhero. Nice guy, just regular guy,
or a ghoul.
Has like fucking
Or a ghoul.
Or a ghoul.
Or a parasite.
or a ghoul,
or a parasite.
So, but on the low, he has this secret skill that he never mentions, and he can probably whoop your ass. Be like, are you really Batman? I don't know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Just keep it fucking pushing.
I like to, keep things, you learn things about me the longer you know me. And that, they feel like, it's reward.
He legit said, I dabbled in martial arts a couple times.
Yeah, that's all he says.
He
I've
never
taken a couple martial arts classes.
Anytime we ever talk about fighting, exactly, Brendan, he'd be like, yeah, I've been in martial arts. Never black belt, never came up.
Never once.
I brought up being in Hood Kwando, and you didn't say a fucking
Nothing.
thing.
He didn't say nothing.
You didn't say, that's cute. I got a black belt. You just was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna shit on that. I'm not gonna shit on that.
I've dabbled. Dabbled for 10 years.
This makes me like I feel like my trust of like what we know about Rob has been eroded. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's so much more to this man that we don't know. Like I've known Rob for years. I did not know that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Secret life, man.
I was gonna ask you, were you serious, Brendan? Did you not know that or not? But that's crazy.
I did not know that.
I feel like that had to have come up. I thought that had come up.
When? You got the steel trap memory. When did that ever come up, Rob?
You're right. I'm mad at him.
Yeah, you're right. You ain't even fighting.
That's something you remember about somebody. I have a black belt. Like, yeah, I would remember that.
That's always in the back of my head. We start talking shit.
If you
like,
had said that to me before,
Rob,
I'm not gonna be like,
man.
Rob ain't got no hands. Like, I literally studied how to hurt people for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I wouldn't have said that. Like, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, man. It was tough.
I
it was a tough test.
Is when those glasses come off. All right. You take those glasses off slowly. There's no coming back from that shit.
I think I've seen Rob upset, and he wasn't at us or nothing.
For the record, one thing I do know about Rob is the glasses aren't coming off. I'll say that.
He's keeping them on during the fight. You keep them on during the fight, Rob?
No.
Okay.
Those are expensive, man.
Well, I'm just
I'm not
saying,
trying to
like,
get
I just
those
know your
broken.
vision is my point. Like, what?
It's not great.
That's my point.
Hey, I'm nearsighted. So, like, if it's a fight, like, I'm gonna know which blur to punch. I hope.
Which blur to punch?
All right, man. Let's jump into some of the questions, man. The question portion of the show. All right, this is jumping to a fun question. Who is your favorite and least favorite character in the X-Men universe? Brennan.
So my surprise plot twist, my favorite character in the X-Men universe was actually Wolverine. I loved Cyclops, and y'all was just talking shit on him because of his leadership abilities. But like when it came to the comics that I owned and all that, like I read through like 4 series of Wolverine. Like as a kid, like I used to actually get comics delivered to my house. Like I was like one of those kids. Like I have subscriptions to multiple different comic book series. And like I said, Wolverine was the one that I was just like, yo, this shit's always fucking raw. Like Wolverine was one of the realists. His fights with Sabretooth was one of my Sabretooth were some of my favorite shit in the world.
Yeah.
Like his brokenheartedness about Jean Grey was the funniest shit in the world to me. I'm just like, bro, Cyclops got her, bro. Like you are literally the side chick. Stop. Just stop. So I really, really, really love Wolverine. My least favorite was Jubilee. Jubilee was the most pointless X-Men of all time to me. Like she had attitude. Fireworks. But that's it. She was just like, I can distract you by putting fireworks in front of your eyes. And I'm just like,
but when she turned up, she got pretty wicked.
I
I liked her character design. I thought she had one of the better character designs.
Jubilee never did anything for me. I was just like, I'm not a fan of Jubilee. I'm sure I'm missing somebody that you guys are going to think of better, but Jubilee, I was always just like, I always thought Jubilee should have been better, more powerful. So I can literally create explosions from my fingertips, and the explosions never really hurt shit. And I'm just like, damn it. You know, it's like when they're fighting the Juggernaut, like, I'll distract his eyes, you know, kind of thing. And that's it. That's what Jubilee did. And then, you know, somebody else has to take off his helmet or some shit, so Professor X can knock him out. Like, but it's just like weak. But yeah, so that's my answer. Side note, second favorite mutant is Magneto, but that's it.
It's a good one.
Yeah, good pick. I'm not sure if I think I heard Tony say Morph is not in the comic book, but he's in the animation. The animation. The cartoon.
That's so funny. I was gonna say Morph is.
Yeah, because I know he said what do we need more for? We got Mystique, which is that was a good point.
That's fair. That's a very good point.
So I was gonna say Morph, but I'll leave it. I'll go back with Cyclops, man. I fucking hate the simpness of this guy. He's the simpiest motherfucker I've seen in a very long time when it comes to just the show. I've never liked him, and everything that I've seen him in, any animation I've seen him in, whether it's when they're teenagers, older, comic books. I just can't stand the way he speaks, man. He feels like the guy that kisses his girlfriend. He looks at you when he's kissing her. You can't see his eyes because he has his little visor on, but shit, I can see if he had his eyes, he'd be like, yeah, huh? She's my girlfriend right here. Yeah, my fucking girl. He seems like that guy. Of course, I'm saying I love Wolverine growing up. He's just an absolute maniac and monster. But Gambit, man, my guy right here, Gambit.
Mon ami.
And I guess this might have been when it's kind of started with like, you know, I've always kind of connected to like that type of character. Like it goes with the Trunkses, it goes with the Todorokis. I guess they kind of fall in that same type of range.
Pretty boys.
The girl that the character that all the girls like.
That's so funny that Keenan would like the pretty boys.
I don't know.
Make sure the light hitting you right, huh?
Yeah, you the eye hitting your eyes just right today, Keenan.
Absolutely. But Gambit, I thought the power is so dope to light up.
Absolutely.
Rob's doing audio checks. He's doing eye checks.
Yeah, make sure the lighting is
Is the ring
I
light
hate
good?
when
Let me
we
get
do
a little closer. Y'all see that? Hazel.
Well,
Hazel.
Rob was like, we have to do this in the evening again. I was like, nah, bro, we're gonna figure out the morning time because I don't have good lighting for my eyes in the evening time at the house. So, and I'm gonna go with Gambit. I'll keep it there. Gambit. Rob.
My favorite, I always thought my favorite, at least recently, has been Nightcrawler. I really like Nightcrawler. His opening scene in X2 is like maybe my favorite scene in any of the X-Men movies.
He infiltrated. That shit was
yeah. His teleporting power. Plus, he just looks cool, and he's got like the saber that he can use the sword every once in a while. I always really liked him. His character design was cool. I always wished he was around more, but he doesn't get used a lot. Least favorite is actually might be Jean Grey, is just as far as like when she's on the team, she's pretty useless. Like it seems like she's always like struggling to get the power together, and the only time she ever gets it together is when she's Phoenix. I like her as Phoenix. She's a good villain, but on the team, I'm not impressed. And it's a shame too, because like if I were going to have a superpower, I feel like telekinesis might be like the first one that I would go for.
Well, she has like the best rounded shit because she could do telekinesis and telepathy. Like she has all of it. You know what I'm saying?
She should be a boss. I feel like her ceiling is high and she just never gets there. She's just a frustrating character for me because I'm always just like, it seems like every story of the X-Men we're just watching Jean Grey try to figure it out rather than just being a boss, which she absolutely has the potential to be. So for me, she's just
Professor X is always,
she just doesn't live up to her
always
potential.
like, I see your potential. I see your potential. I see your potential.
Yeah. We're always talking about her potential, and she just never gets it until she's Phoenix, and then she's a problem.
So you're saying who will be a athlete that's like her? I was gonna say Greg Oden, but we never saw his potential at all.
But Greg Oden had a really good first 2 years. Like he broke the rookie record for blocks. Like he was a beast.
Did he? Okay. All right, Ice, yours.
I mean, Keenan said it, but I just fucking hate Morph, bro. I hate Morph so much. I hate how he looks, the fucking comb over. I hate how he talks. He talks like a fucking somebody in them old movies that shoots a Tommy gun. Like I just hate him. I fucking hate Morph so much. And then, like I said, he's just a carbon copy of Mystique. Like he don't even have like a little intricacy that's different. Like he's a legit copy. Trash. The Iceman. I always liked Iceman because my name is Ice. Yeah. So like I always thought that was like super dope. And then people just generally called me that, even if they didn't know me, even if they knew my real name, they was like Iceman. Like everybody would say that. So I always thought, and he was dope. Like I remember reading the book.
Sorry.
No, I remember that too because I was kind of mad. Like damn, all he do is this ice shit. But like once I read more about him in the comics, like he was a dog for real. Like the shit that he was able to do and turn into this like big ass fucking ice creature and like freeze the whole fucking like side of the planet. Like after I saw that, I'm like, all right, you're my guy now. Like I feel a lot better about being called Iceman because you know you actually pretty hard. So yeah, that's my.
In a 1-on-1 fade, who you got? Todoroki's Ice side or Iceman? He can't use the fire side, just his ice side.
Iceman.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Do you trust Emma Frost or do you think she's up to something? Ice.
She a raggedy bitch. I don't care. I don't like how she dressed. Let's talk about that. I just really made this question so I can get on her about how she dressed. What the fuck is she wearing?
Titties out.
What is that? What?
That's anime.
Titties.
The things gonna always be out.
What is that? Rob, I hit Rob like, what the fuck what is she wearing?
And yeah, well, and that's that outfit would make sense if she'd already developed her like diamond body power. I'm like, all right, like yeah, you can get away like wearing something, because that's just not practical going into a fight.
Not at all.
Just bare chested.
It's like she's zooming.
But for
like,
the record, she
know
never planned to be in any of those fights. If you
exactly. And I don't know who said it, but when Rob and I was talking about it, it was like she trying to combine, get ready for a Zoom meeting and her OnlyFans. Like she trying to combine both of them because she got the shit open right here, but it's like formal. It's like it's just not a practical outfit. But back to the actual question, I don't trust her. To the point that Brendan and I were saying, Cyclops not letting go of that shit. It got to be a reason. Like, he 4 episodes in, and he's still like, yo, fuck Emma Frost. I don't care that Armor likes her. I don't care. And with him being the main character and him not letting go of it, they got to, from a writing perspective, they got to pay him off in some type of way. And I don't trust them at all. I think she did some bullshit and she planned cover up, or she did some bullshit unknowingly because somebody else was controlling her, or her and the girl Armor, they're in it together. It's one of those things.
Rob?
I definitely think there's something going on. I have my theory right now is that I think I do trust her. And that's just because I also have like the outside knowledge that I know like she and Cyclops got together in the comics at one point. I feel like maybe that's the journey they're going to take, is like he learns to trust her, and maybe that's it. Maybe Emma Frost is his rebound. I don't know. But like, I feel like
not a bad way to go.
I mean, no.
Have you seen you seen her?
You seen her teaching outfit? I mean, damn. And like, my theory is that like maybe she was there, but it's maybe that's going to be like the last thing they do is like they have to like go back in time, or she's going to have to like reach back in like time to do this or something like that. So yes, she was there, but she hasn't done it yet or something. That's my out of the box theory right now. So I do trust her, but something is absolutely going on.
Brennan?
First of all, wow, that's a really good theory, Rob. I'm gonna side with Ice though and say that I think that she is up to some bullshit. Like I don't think she's necessarily like a straight bad person, but I think she's definitely hiding something. Like she knows more than she's letting on, you know? And so like one of the things that made me trust her more is that she walks in and Professor X is like, yo, what up? We good. Welcome. Consider this your second home. And I'm just like, well, he's a telepath, and I know he scans everybody, pulls up to the crib. So, like, yeah. You know, I don't know.
I scan everybody that pulls up to the crib.
Yeah, wouldn't you? It's your house. You can read people's minds and their intentions. Wouldn't you look at their minds and intentions, like when they come to your house?
Yeah. I think that's just a funny sentence.
But yeah, she like that's why. So for me, though, I don't necessarily fully trust her, but I still think she is hiding something, and because she is a telepath, she could hide something from Professor X as well. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to add to that. I think Cyclops is right in just being skeptical. I think just keeping her at that Floyd, I always say the Floyd Miller defense kind of keep her like at bay a little bit, little Philly shell, kind of just be like, all right, we cool now, but you're not fully out the clear yet because I saw something and you were it. So I just don't know why I saw you, but you're in my mind. Maybe it was just foreshadowing his next future girl, like you said. So could be that.
Could be.
Has there ever been a woman you simped over like Cyclops does over Jean? I would say in the 10th grade, yeah, I was a simp for a girl. I won't use her name or say nothing like that. From like 10th to like past high school, like I would say probably 3 years removed from high school, there was a girl like I was like simping over, like, man, she's gonna be the one. This is my wife. I'm gonna do anything to get with her and wipe her down. And years later, I realized how much of a fucking simp I was. I was Cyclops mode. I would have did anything Cyclops did for Jean at that time. For this particular.
Did y'all ever do the do?
We end up, you know, hanging out and being romantic at times. Yeah.
No, at least she wasn't. At least it was, you know. You just wasn't playing yourself out.
Yeah, and I would say I won't say what what happened. I'll keep that off camera. But yeah, like we end up kind of like I guess somewhat dating a little bit. I can't even tell you. I'm actually confused about the title, what it was.
To this day.
Google it. Brennan.
I was pretty much that all the way through like middle school.
I appreciate this answer, Brendan. I really do.
No, I mean, just keep it all the way real. Like, I was the guy. Like, it's like, yo, you want some gum? Any girl that I found slightly attractive, you can have whatever. I was the gum guy. You know what I'm saying? The guy that was just always like, gum guy? What? You guys know every school had that guy.
It's a move.
That was like the overly friendly guy.
A gum or candy guy. Yeah.
That was me. I was just like, oh, hey,
you
girl.
want double mint? You want juicy fruit? What you want? Like,
well, I only had my gum. The only gum that I had was the gum that I liked in my pocket. But I'm just saying, like, you know how everybody always wanted gum because they always thought their breath was hot. So it was like everybody, like all the girls could always depend on me. Like Brennan's always going to make sure I'll give them whatever they wanted. You know what I'm saying? You want some gum?
They're gonna see me as a provider.
Yeah.
Brennan, let me ask you this. Brennan, and I'm sorry to put this on you, but I feel
okay.
like I
It's
kind
all right.
of see this as you.
It's fine. I was
Did
wild.
you used to follow girls at school? Like not like in a creepy way, but like you used to like kind of like tag along behind them a lot. And it's like, is that just following?
No, I didn't do that. I was like the guy that was like every girl's best friend. Like, so like it wasn't much like I was like carrying their books or anything like that, but it's more so like they just would tell me about how they were fucking all the guys, and I'm sitting there thinking like I would want something. You know, like I was the guy that would know all the stories. But in the long run, that actually ended up helping me. Because I ended up learning a lot about like what like the complaints women had, because they normally would complain about their sexual experiences with guys. So like all these women, like when I was like wishing I could have sex with all of them, would just be complaining, and I was like, I'm never gonna be that guy.
Excellent.
Like I'm never gonna be this guy. No woman's ever gonna talk about me like this. No one's ever
Your
talking
ass
like
was
that.
fucking Kick. Like I've accumulated all this data now.
Data. Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Brennan, that go. Oh man, I gotta go to a question after this. But
He's Kick for real. Like I'm watching and I've been doing it this whole time.
I own it.
go ahead, Rob.
Oh yeah, for sure. Similar to Brennan, I had a phase like basically through like middle school or whatever. And then like I dated this girl through like most of high school, and then when we broke up, I didn't know how to be single. I was just like, everything was supposed to be like, all right, this is the one. You know what I mean? So I definitely went through a phase that I think I broke through. I think I got through that phase. But you know, it wasn't just
Andrea
one.
walks in the back room like, what'd you say, Rob? Nothing, babe.
Nothing. It's for the show. No, but I definitely had my phases where I was just like, oh man, like I would do anything for her. Like, oh, this is forever. Like in 10th grade or whatever. Like, no, man, this is puppy love at best. That's what. But you know, at the time, it feels so real.
Right,
it feels so real, so
feels
serious.
so real.
Brennan, Ice.
Yeah, definitely. I've had my fair share of scent moments. I think the most prolific one would probably be in grade school. I had this big old crush on this girl named, well, she should not be named, but I had a big crush on her, man. And she was like she was head over heels for my homeboy. And every time that she would try to talk to me, it would be to get to my homeboy because she didn't know how to approach it. And then I'm like, fam, like I kept trying to interject and be like, come on. Like, you want me?
Have you seen me though?
Like, right. She's like, I want Antoine. She would just always say that all the time. And then I remember one day she slipped up and said, because she slipped up and told one of her other friends, which was my like best friend, that the only reason that I'm nice to him is like, I want to make sure that when he shoot the school up, he don't shoot me. Because at the time, like I was like, because she overheard one of the people at the front desk saying that I had to go, had to get removed from school for the day because I had to go to my psychiatrist. So she was like, "Oh, you going to the psychiatrist? You fucking crazy.
You must be
nice
insane.
to him so he won't fucking kill me when shit go left." And I was like, God damn, I was fucked up. I was like, God, no, like
You the school shooter, Ice?
No, that's at least what she thought in her eyes.
Man,
I
that's
was
a
the
tough
school
break.
shooter, bro. That's hilarious.
It is, bro.
There's so many levels to that.
So
Okay. So next question: what X-Men character would you sub in place of another character on another show that we've watched? Example: Asako replacing Mira and got a high school, yeah. So what character? Rob.
So the one that came to mind immediately is I would have loved to have seen Wolverine in Blades of the Immortal. I mean, he's got basically the same power. Just put him in, throw all those weapons out, just give him the claws, put Wolverine in like an old-timey Japanese setting, like just having to like protect this girl and like help her get revenge. That shit would be great. And he wouldn't take those same L's the way what's his face did. I forget his name, but like he's got the same powers. Like he would definitely, like, you could take the other dude out, put Wolverine in, and that show would just only get better.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when he fought the girl with the bald hair. With the short hair. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
Ice.
Ooh. Damn. I would take I'd probably take Cyclops and put him in fucking probably either Evangelion. Yeah, I'd probably put him in Evangelion just to see like who can cry the most, who can have a bitch fit the most. Him and Shinji have a bitch off. I think that'll be that'll be fun. Not necessarily fun to watch, but fun to hear our commentary about it. Us go back and forth. And then I can see him getting into it with Mr. Me Too Man and taking his girl from him. And just seeing that plot. And then just seeing him blow up Evas would be cool.
Yeah.
Brandon?
I just like to point out one of the funniest lines in this show was when what's his name, the guy with like the exoskeleton bad guy, like was ready to was fighting him and fuck up everybody, and Storm was just like powered up, and he's like, calm down, you couldn't even light a light bulb right now. And she was just like
she's powered back down.
I wanted to talk about that. I am so angry.
How is that possible?
They fucking nerfed the fuck out of Storm.
All this electricity around her. She's like, you couldn't light a light bulb. She was just like, words
that shit
hurt.
And that's what I fucking, oh man. I was so mad about that because they played the fuck out of Storm. They played the fuck out of her.
Words hurt my feelings. Yeah. My powers don't work when my feelings are hurt. I would take actual Storm and put her on My Hero Academia because it feels like her powers are pretty much in line with those kind of powers, and I would replace her with Todoroki because I feel like if you had a young Storm in the same exact situation as Todoroki, I think Storm would be a more interesting character because of the powers, because Todoroki is, a bi-power character where it's like, I have fire, I have ice, and that's what it is. But now imagine like what parents have to come together to form a goddess of the weather. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I control moisture and air, and I control the wind. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and they came together, and she's like, and I have the ability to control weather. You know what I'm saying? But my mom, who didn't like my mom was the moisture. My dad had the tornadoes, and
her dad was Captain Planet.
My dad pulled the air out of her power, out of her breath. You know what I'm saying? Because she was just not doing a thing, and put her in the hospital. And now I have this complex where I don't use the wind powers, but I will remove the moisture from your body while we fight, or it's like make ice things fall on you, because she can still do all the same shit Todoroki does. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to not the fire, but the ice side of it, she can still do all that. So I think Storm would be a hell of a replacement because there's so many more things she can do, than Todoroki can do. So yeah, that's my answer.
Absolutely.
I just made that up, man. I feel really good about that answer. I'm sorry.
That's a great answer, actually. It's a great answer.
Good one.
I feel really good about it.
I gotta go with Wolverine again, but I'm gonna go with Wolverine and Demon Slayer and replace it with a Nosuke. And I want to see Wolverine just having that angry person, just have him flip, and having Wolverine and fucking Demon Slayer. And now that I'm finished with the manga and knowing what goes on, having to fight those upper level those demons. Or when they got to go against Mugen, man, that shit will be raw as hell. I can't give away anything because Brett hasn't fucking read it. Like everybody else here has.
He's really gonna wait 5 years. That blows my mind.
That kills him. Brett, Rob, you said you finished it, right?
Yeah, I'm done.
You done?
I finished it.
Yeah, I would love to see Wolverine in that world and just seeing just having to I think he'll just snap off when he's regular low level demons, but when it comes to the upper levels, I would just love to see how he goes to work and see how he fares against some of these guys.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So next question. Which is better, quirks or mutant abilities? Ice.
I'm going to say mutant abilities because I feel like I always think about it as the basement. Based in level mutant abilities, you end up to Brenner's point, maybe like a Jubilee with fireworks, which if you do certain things, you can still
that's
be
what
pretty.
You're seeing. I think you have to dive deeper into probably the comic books. I think there's a
I have though too. I think if you get into somebody like Pyro, well, Pyro is he's kind of trash, honestly, because you have to have fire in order to manipulate fire. Like he can't produce fire himself. So I think there's other X-Men that are, maybe like the Blob, who's just fucking fat. Where it's just
he's not just fat. He's not just fat. Don't discredit the Blob. Yeah. The Blob is a motherfucker.
I mean, he's hard, but it's just at the same point, it's just he's
super strong. He's pretty much invulnerable for the most part. and he's also extremely heavy. Like the motherfucker is a tank, a walking tank.
But so is Juggernaut. So it's just like
the Juggernaut's stronger. I agree. The Juggernaut's stronger, but like at the same time, the Juggernaut needs a helmet.
He's just like he's a great value version of the Juggernaut.
Yeah. 99-cent store.
He's like the Juggernaut and Snorlax had a baby.
Yeah, basically. But I'm just that's stupid.
Why is that so funny
that's
to me?
Stupid.
That was so stupid.
That's great.
But it's just like is the basement level people are still really like good. Like basement level people with quirks are trash. They couldn't even clean up trash out the street. So yeah, definitely mutant powers.
Rob?
Yeah, I gotta kind of agree with Ice here because we've seen some quirks that are just stupid. Like, you know, like we've talked about it on the show. Like sometimes, like your quirk is like you're a seal. Like that's just what it is. And like, there's some great quirks out there, but yeah, exactly what Ice is saying. I don't know a ton of I know at one point in the Marvel universe there were millions of mutants on the planet, and then Scarlet Witch did some shit and they got down to like a few hundred. But like, there had to have been some bad ones, but of the ones I've seen, like mutant powers are higher on average for sure.
Brennan?
I'd agree. I mean, like, even if you just look at like the peak of what can be possible, it's like if you look at what Professor X can do or Magneto, it's like Magneto moved an entire bridge, was just like the metal of the bridge and like lifted it up and like just carried motherfucker and his whole team. They're just riding through the sky on a whole fucking suspension bridge. I'm just like, fuck out of here.
Fucking Magneto.
Like talking about like the ultimate mob. You know what I'm saying? Like we mobbing through the city. Like what we doing? Like, oh, we riding the bridge, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just unreasonably amazing. Like, but either way, I'd say that mutant powers just seem to have a higher ceiling and a higher basement. So yeah, some of the quirks are some of the most creative things you've ever seen, but mutant abilities were the precursor to quirks anyway. And just like the diversity of it, I know that there's no way that X-Men didn't inspire, a part of My Hero Academia.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I say that, like I'll take a mutant power, but then it's like, because you have the chance of getting deformed for either one of them. You could end up looking like the Beast or like, what's it called? The Frog Dude. You can end up looking like that, but that's on both sides. So it doesn't really matter, So yeah, I'd say I'll take an X ability.
You take an X ability?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm kind of torn because I'm right now. I wanted to go last. So I could just look up real quick some people for X-Men. I might have to go. It's tough. I'll just go X-Men. Just go against the grain here. There's a dude named Skin.
Wait. Do you mean you say we all went X-Men?
You going quirk?
I'll go quirk. I would have a quirk.
Got it.
My bad. Because there's a guy named Skin on X-Men, and his skin just gets flabby. Like he just grows an extra 4 feet of skin.
This man he's a dick. He turns into a dick.
He turns into an uncircumcised penis. That's pretty much his ability. There's another guy named fucking let me see where he's at. The Zeitgeist. He throws up acid. That's all he does. He has to throw it up though, and I hate throwing it up.
That's Acid Girl though, and she's in the top class on My Hero.
He has to throw it up. She spits it out.
Acid is still acid.
But that's different though. He has to go, hold on real quick. He probably got no control over that shit because when you throw up, you just throw up everywhere. That's it.
That's tough, man. That's a tough break.
Hey man, any kind of power that you have to have, you have to learn how to train it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about Lemillion. You know what I'm saying? His power was trash until he made it into something. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So like don't
Loki, he has one of the dopest kind of powers, to be honest.
But you got to think about it too. Like these people that you're naming you had to look them up. The Acid Girl we know off of visual. The Tate motherfucker, we know him off of visual, and he's in the top class.
That's just because they go more in depth in My Hero. They don't go that in depth in.
But they still in the top class.
We're not the avid comic book readers, probably like we were back in the day. So it's like that's different. It's like if you ask somebody like Tony reads the comic books way more than we do. Which is I might try to get Tony on one of these episodes because he's he knows a lot of this shit better than we do.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
He would actually be able to be like he could probably come up with a bunch off the top of his head. So it's like that's where it's just unfair because in My Hero they go through way much more
Way much
That's
more.
that's the only reason
But
why.
like, if you think about-
the people that they present are still not like some of those quirks. Like the tape dude, he's there. Right, the audio jack girl, they're like main auxiliary characters.
Yeah.
the tape dude is pretty much Spider-Man.
No,
But
he's not.
but
No, he is not.
Yeah,
He does not
even
have
yet.
spider
I said
sense.
pretty much.
No. He pretty much has the web slingers. He is not Spider-Man.
Okay, that's
And it's
my bad.
right,
My bad.
and
That's
it's
what I
right
meant.
here. It's right here. It's not here. Like it's
He's pretty much Spider-Man.
fucking-
I am offended by that. Actually,
I'm
I
fucking
take
ludicrous.
real
Like,
offense to that. He's pretty much Spider-Man.
Rob was gonna say that. What were you gonna say, Rob?
I'm saying the people that they
Oh.
present in My Hero or some of their powers aren't even dope. The people that they present in X-Men have really strong powers.
Yeah, I was just going to say the ceiling for X-Men seems way higher. Like when you talk about like All Might, obviously super strong, All for One, obviously super strong. But like when you look at like the heavy hitters on X-Men, like Magneto, Storm,
Phoenix.
like Phoenix,
Yeah,
like
Phoenix,
this
yeah.
is God tier like type stuff.
They
Like,
definitely are God tier. They definitely are God
Like-
tier. I said I had to go
So-
against the grain, baby. Shit. I
No, I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it.
You
You
have a good-
said
good
the Tape
reason
Man
for
was
it.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, like you.
I said
you can't say that and then not
basically.
really have something to go with it.
I said basically. Yeah, you're right. My
He's
bad.
not
That's ice
basically
logic.
Spider-Man. He's not even
My
like
bad.
he's a fraction of Spider-Man.
My
he's
bad.
a small piece.
Even bringing them into the same conversation is disrespectful.
My
Oh,
bad. That's
man.
ice logic. Next question.
Oh wow.
That's crazy
Who
because
who has
you
the
did
better
it
school
yourself.
for the gifted? The X Mansion / Xavier Institute or UA My Hero? I personally think the better school for the gifted, for the young kids is My Hero. From what we're seeing, anyways, I feel like UA is for these. I feel like a lot of the kids become helpless, or like I look at somebody like Jean Grey. Jean Grey, she's grown and still ain't got no control over her powers like that. I feel like when the kids become adults at UA, they have control over their powers. They're just a lot more well-rounded. At least from what I've seen so far, maybe because I haven't dived as deep into the comic books like as I should. Like I said, Tony will probably be a better at explaining that. But I feel like from what I've seen from My Hero, I would rather be in that school. I feel like they're training you to be a hero, whereas X-Men are training you to just control your powers. Whereas here it's like control your power. We're training you to also bring out the best of your powers at the same time. I feel like Professor Xavier doesn't necessarily want to bring you out and make you this extremely strong person. It's kind of like just hone it, try to live a regular basic life. Whereas here it's like, nah, it's more open world. People accept the quirks more. And so you can kind of live in that, you can kind of live in your quirk instead of like trying to hide your mutant ability. Brandon wants to go next. Go ahead.
Yes, I do. I think this is a bit of an unfair question. And the reason I say that is because My Hero is based around the school where X-Men is based around the world. And the thing is, there are aspects to the Xavier Institute that far surpass what you have with My Hero Academia. For example, the Danger Room. Like that room is insane. Like it's literally can be anything and anyone that you can fight against and train against. So you want to talk about like hero training? It's like, yo, and like My Hero, it takes them a long time and a whole bunch of heroes to get together everything they need to be able to put together the courses and do all this kind of stuff. Where in the Danger Room, they can be like, all right, we want to see Sentinel fight in New York, downtown. Save the people. Go. You know what I'm saying? And then afterwards, they can just be like, all right, cool.
I'm going to say, when they bring those people in like that, when it comes to the Danger Room, are their powers actually legit in the sense of like, if they're bringing in a villain in the Danger Room?
It's not as strong, but it's still pretty intense. Like motherfuckers die in the Danger Room.
Mm-hmm.
They also
your
too,
background.
but they have it though in UA where they fight because that's where the dude pulled up on them at. When Eraserhead was trying to show them how to do the different, like they had their own version of a Danger Room. That's when
it's just
they
not,
pulled up
like,
on them.
holographic or whatever, right?
Yeah,
It's
but
just
they
like-
still had like a Danger Room type place in there.
Yeah.
So I say that it's a hard. I can't answer this question because I don't feel like we don't have enough information about what's actually taught at the Xavier Institute because it's not about the school. That's all I'll say.
Rob?
I'm also going to go with UA. for a couple of reasons. I agree that like, yeah, the intention of the school is different. I mean, because Brennan's right in regards that like the story is different because the world is different. Whereas like in UA, it's like if you've got powers, it's all good. Like you're the norm. In X-Men, if you're a mutant, like you're a second class citizen at best. Like you usually have to hide those powers, and this is like a safe place for them. So it's like, whereas like UA is, you're absolutely right. Like training heroes to be fighters, heroes, use their powers to the best of their ability. It's like Xavier is just school. Like they just like, and then like the gift, like they are just like learning history and philosophy. And the ones that manage to like master their powers, I guess, in the extracurriculars, that the ones that are the best, like those get to go on to be the X-Men. They get to join the team. And so like if we're talking about like a matchup between like the UA students and the Xavier students, like the scrubs at UA are, I think, washing the scrubs at Xavier.
Oh, for
personally.
sure. For sure.
100%.
Just because you're absolutely right. And my other part of that is that like UA, like it's been a thing that like, yes, the villains have gotten on the ground, but they have for the most part protected it. Even the little bit of X-Men that I've read and seen, like Xavier's school gets blown up all the time.
On a
they
regular
cannot
basis.
keep that
Even when
school
it's not
together.
their movie, they got fucked up in Deadpool, and it's not even their shit. We ain't even here for that, fam.
They are constantly getting their building burned down. So
That's a
I'm
good
going to go
point.
with UA.
Yeah, I think it's not even fair. I think it's just a
Like UA
is
gets infiltrated all the time. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
UA, yeah, they're built for that. That's what they do. And honestly, there's been enough like media about X-Men for them to establish the schools. There's comics, there's cartoons, there's TV shows, there's movies, other movies that not directly or derivative from X-Men. Like there's been enough X-Men in the media over 60 plus years for them to establish what that school is doing. I know it's about the world, but they could have really went in depth with the school. And it's just that like, it's just not
You know
enough
for
there.
sure, though. That's what I'm saying. I don't think any of us have read enough comic books to know for sure if they have it or not.
I've watched all of the cartoons. I've watched I have tubs and tubs of comics that I've read. Obviously,
Binders and binders of women.
You said, all right, bro. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Why would you don't bring Mitt Romney into this?
Yeah, I think
full of
that it's just not. Is UA is built for that. UA is they have a whole curriculum for those heroes. So I think it's really it's like night and day. And I think Professor Xavier honestly is a trash ass teacher. Like I think he is garbage. I think that that professor title should be thrown out.
Wow. All right.
Damn.
Go
Take back his degree.
Yeah, he's trash.
All right, next question. What do you think each of our mutant powers would be if we had the X gene, if our X gene was activated? Brennan.
So we have to say the other person's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Rob would be the Beast. I think he would just go hyper, like, but also apparently he has a black belt, so the Beast gets his ass whooped, but he still has hands. I think Ice would be. I'll get back to Ice. I think Keenan would be. You know, it's funny. I wrote this question and I didn't even answer it. I think Keenan would be something like a. Let's just stick with the X-Men for this one. Like which X-Men in any X-Men iteration. So I say.
Okay.
I say Keenan's gonna be.
Brennan, you
really should have thought of this.
Yeah, I really think like I want to be disrespectful.
At least you play fair.
I want to be like Jubilee. I want to say Jubilee so bad, but I don't want to do Keenan like that because he's about to get me back. All right, so Rob is Beast. I'd say Keenan is. I'm gonna say Wolverine just because like Keenan got like. Keenan seems like he seems like he would like when the shit sets off. Keenan might have the most anger issues and like lose control. Like he's super chill most of the time, but then it's just like nah, like zero. And then I'll say Ice is probably is 100% Gambit. Just because I'm just gonna leave it that he's Gambit. I'm gonna go with Gambit. Just be
What? No, you already put me out here. Why you
hold
think
on,
I'm
man.
Gambit?
We gotta fight. What about these hoes? That's
pretty much.
bad right there. We're in the middle of a fight.
Ice is more worried about what he looks like and what the women are thinking than anything else. So
But,
yeah,
hey, come up in the clutch. come up in the clutch.
If there's a woman at
The
stake,
Cajun.
yeah. If there's a woman at stake, if your woman's at stake, yeah, you might come up in the clutch. But if we're all
He
about to die
literally-
and there's some wop
in the
on this
middle
on
of
the
his
doorstep-
job.
yeah.
Brent, in the middle of his job in Arizona, he tried to holler at chicks
Yeah.
while on stage. He failed. He failed. We helped him out, but he failed. But in the middle of his job, you're in the middle of work. So, what's going on?
It was part of the joke. It was part of the joke.
It wasn't a joke at all.
That's what I would say too.
It was a planned attack. I saw the girls before I even got on stage, and I'm like, I'm gonna tell these jokes about my ex, and then turn and look at them and say these jokes are old, and that's exactly what I did.
And you can thank Keon and myself for lobbing you because you started the
That was all a part of the plan.
That was not a part of the plan.
It's all a part of the plan.
It was all a part of the plan.
Ice is like, I will die on this fucking hill.
That's Ice. He's just going to commit.
It was planned in the beginning. I knew I was going to say those jokes because have I told those jokes before? No, I told those were new. That was jokes specifically for them.
Wait, that doesn't
for
help
you
your
girls
argument
right
all.
At all. Rob,
If you had told him before, that would help your argument. But go, I'm sorry. Thank you, Keenan.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go a little different with Ice just because I know we've talked about this before with like we were talking about like quirks or superpowers or something. I'm gonna give Ice Quicksilver, obviously because he's got like the speed, the running thing.
yeah.
Then just because I got to do something different for everybody. For Keenan, I'm gonna say Colossus. You get the you get the armor. You got the armor to protect. And protect yourself and protect others. Just be the strong one. I'm gonna go with that. And
Colossus the Feds though.
He is.
Yeah, he the Feds.
In Deadpool for sure. He is for sure. Then Brennan.
Professor X.
I'm going to say, you took it out of my mouth. I said, he's like
head.
Professor X. I was literally thinking it, and you read my mind. Just like Xavier,
I know.
You're
I know.
Professor X.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it.
I'm here to be part of the narrative.
And Ice is coming for your degree.
Take that, Professor Edwards. That's what we said.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ice.
I know he mentioned him, but like when I envision Nightcrawler, I envision Rob. Like I feel like Rob is the type of person that can want to get in, get out, maneuver and stuff, and just is really just a Swiss Army knife because that's what he is. Like he's the human, equivalent of a Swiss Army knife. I don't think there's a lot that, especially now that we know he's a fucking black belt. There's what can't this man do? So yeah, he's definitely that. Keenan. I mean, he called me Gambit. So I honestly, I see.
I didn't call you Gambit.
Well, I mean, you doubled down with
Brennan.
What? Yeah. I mean, I didn't say anything. Could you like Gambit? I don't want. I had Wolverine as well. I think that's X-Force, so I don't think I can say it.
It's got an X in there. I mean,
Go ahead, take it, do it.
Yeah.
But I think Bishop.
Mutants,
Bishop would be, who I see when I see Keenan. I think Bishop is the type of guy that just kind of like, hey, fuck what they talking about. Fuck what Cable and them on. I don't give a damn. Like I'm doing my own shit. I'm on my, my own groove. I'm like, X-Men. I rock with y'all. And let's get after it. I think I like Bishop as Keenan, and then for Brennan, he'd be Mystique because he's a bitch.
Whoa! Wow!
Wow! I gave you Gambit, bro.
No, I'm just playing. No, I just was joking about the bitch part. But I would give you Mystique. I don't want to call you Morph because Morph is trash. But I do think the infiltration part of Mystique and how like she's clever and how like it's one thing to have powers. Like that you can shapeshift, but it's another thing to use it to like the way that she uses it. Like she turns into fucking politicians for blackmail. She turns into, she is way outside of the scope of just X-Men. And I think like if any power that you give like somebody like Brennan, he would use it to that degree that Mystique uses it.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
That's a good one.
This is honestly a fucking tough question, to be honest.
It is.
I would go Brennan, Archangel.
Oh, okay.
Wait. Pre or post the metal?
I would go with the metal.
Hell yeah. Okay.
I've never been a fan of the regular wings. That was just
Yeah,
was
I was gonna
trash.
say like that. He
Yeah.
was so trash with regular wings. Like, please don't make me that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that to you. I'm just trying to go off something different. I guess I feel like Brennan would kind of also want that freedom just to fly off and go anywhere he wants. And then I feel like with the metal wings, he's just also it's like a hawk instead of just being like a regular bird, like a regular pigeon. I feel like with the metal wings, he's more like a hawk. You know what I'm saying? He goes after it super crazy.
Ain't that somebody on My Hero 2, Hawkman? Some shit?
Yeah, he's Hawks.
Yeah.
Hawks.
Yeah, Hawks. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's his name. Yeah.
He's dope.
He's got those feathers.
I think I would go with Rob. I was going to say Cyclops, but because all I hear is I'm engaged, right? But when I see Rob,
That's hilarious.
but I'm gonna go with something different. I'm gonna go Deadpool.
That's X-Force ish, yeah.
But yeah, I'm
out.
going down the line of just like different ones. I'm gonna go Deadpool with Rob. 'Cause I feel like Rob would be just. I feel like Rob has a fun side that I haven't seen anyways. And I feel like if he had his power, he'd be like, let's fucking die. He'd be kind of like a little bit out there.
I can't die. Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
I
do
can
it.
see him just blowing his own brains out to coming back. Hey, with Ice, can we go villains too or no?
Yeah.
Hey, why not?
I mean, I called Brennan Mystique. She's a villain.
True.
True.
I was gonna say Sabretooth for Ice, but I'm gonna go Juggernaut. Kind of like the running thing. I just kind of I don't really necessarily have a full explanation for Ice and Juggernaut. I just think it would be probably kind of a cool character for him to be that, just running through shit and just using that. And I can see him
When Ice has got
that.
that momentum, man.
Yeah, he'll just run.
Hard to
he'll
stop.
Run,
I'd like to-
Go
Go ahead.
ahead.
I'm sorry. I like to change my answer for Ice to Sabretooth, 100%.
Yeah, Sabretooth. I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause he's like,
Sabretooth definitely was mine. But
he has the weakest logic of any villain in the history of life.
Goddamn.
He does.
yeah.
Have you ever looked at what his
What is
motivations are?
No.
Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean that's one of them. But why Wolverine? You ever look into that? You know what? I'm gonna let you figure that out, Ice.
I know. Fuck. It was like fuck. It was like an equivalent of Broly, right? Like Broly and Goku.
It's pretty similar.
I know
yeah.
they're both in Weapon X.
Yeah, that's what I knew. That's what I always remembered it as. It was just like they were like.
He's always just like, I'm in competition with you because we're one of the
Yeah.
same. You know, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to go after you and torture you and try to kill you because I'm a bitch, pretty much. Like, or I think you're a bitch, or you're the most fun to play with. Like, what? It's like, okay.
Man looks for a challenge, I guess.
That's pretty trash.
I had to get the custom Juggernaut one for my hair. Just had the opening up top. And,
That helmet.
All right, next question. There's been some other superheroes turn into animes. Example, Iron Man, Wolverine, Blade, Batman. Which superhero would you want to see adapted into an anime? Marvel or DC, whatever, doesn't matter. Rob?
See, I was over here thinking like, fuck, what was my other question? And I totally forgot. And now I'm here and I don't have an answer. So I'm just going to think real quick.
Rob out of everybody.
I would actually, I think I got one. I'd love to see Daredevil adapted into an anime. I think that'd be really cool. I think him being able to like see stuff through like, through his like echolocation or whatever would be really interesting to see animated, just to see how that would look. And like, if you've watched the Netflix series, like Daredevil can get after it. Like he's not like top tier hero, but like he's a brawler, dude, and like he will get in there and start swinging. And I think he would definitely come with the hands. I think that would be a really fun show to watch. Plus, with like somebody like his villains, like get Punisher in there,
Kingpin.
get Bullseye, Kingpin, Elektra. Obviously, would be super cool to see in an anime. So I think Daredevil would be a really
Kingpin
cool
actually
adaptation.
Kingpin was dope in the Miles Morales Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was cool. And he fights against the Hand, Clan of Ninjas. Very anime.
Super dope. I would have to go with Deadpool, man.
Damn it.
Deadpool will be fire as a fucking anime. He already has the swords, the guns. I think it'll be a super edgy anime. You see a lot of blood, a lot of killing. But then it'll be absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
With their type of animation, oh man, I think they would do him so much justice. I think they would do him way better than we've done him in the sense of like, at least visually how we see him and how he gets stuff done. I would love to see a fucking Deadpool.
You don't think we doing it right?
For an animation standpoint, how like the things that he can probably like the way they would animate him, I think an anime in that type of style will be way better. I think in the movies he's done right. I think and even some of the animation here is cool. But it's just not edgy. Like it's like at the end of the day, it's like DC goes edgy. I think even DC would do a better job of doing a fucking Deadpool movie because they'll make him fucking
They make a
murderer. They make him kill
slave
slaying
movie.
cats. People getting their heads cut off. Like, ooh, his head's off. Up, roll over there. Like it'll be hilarious. Brennan says I took Ice's answer, so I'll give you some time to think about it. Brennan,
I'm gonna say. Well, my answers are kind of like cop-outs, but only because it's what I would have said. The first one I would have said was Batman, but they do have the Ninja Batman, which I've seen, which I honestly want to see another iteration of it. I wasn't disappointed, but I think we could do better. And then the other one I would say is, the Marvel equivalent of Batman, Iron Man. I want to see Iron Man as an anime, and Iron Man is an anime. I learned that while doing the actuals for this. They actually, the same studio, the same collaboration did it, which makes me not super excited about it. But like, I think that like Iron Man would be one of the dopest anime because I actually read a lot of Iron Man comic books. And I don't remember the exact name of the writer or the artist for the series that I was reading because I didn't realize that mattered when I was reading them. I was just reading what came. But the series where Iron Man's armor comes alive, and does not become Ultron, a different version of that, is one that I read that I was just like deeply into. And I think that being put into like either an anime movie or a series would be insane. Absolutely insane. And so like I would love to see that because there's just so much to the Iron Man series and this and there's just so much tech and so much, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just so much fun you can have with animation with Iron Man that you might not be able to do in live action. I think they did a good job in the movies and stuff like that, but I would love to see like the Japanese take on it where it's like, let's go over the top, kind of thing.
I just all I think of is Gundam and like Mecha, like.
Yeah.
And I don't like that necessarily anime that much. So that's what makes me nervous about, because I still want to watch the anime Iron Man one myself too, but that's what I think of. When you said that, I was just like, I just think of Gundam so much.
You might have just helped me with one of my next picks.
No. All right.
No, there's a Gundam I saw that I really liked that wasn't Iron Blooded Orphans, but go ahead.
Oh my god. Man, please, Brennan.
Wait. I'm sorry. What was your pick? What was your pick, guys?
Dead Man's Wonderland.
Yeah, okay, that's all. Go on.
I'm just saying, Iron Blooded Orphans wasn't that dope. You were the only person that really enjoyed it. So I'd be okay if I never see another Gundam again.
Season 2, I heard is fire from a lot of people.
You might have helped even.
So is Tokyo Ghoul.
You might have helped my next pick too, Ice. Go on, guys.
Oh my god. Yeah, Teen Titans. I think that'd be dope to see all of those guys in the anime. The Teen Titan, the Teen Titans. That's like the cartoon with Beast Boy, Robin, Starfire, all those guys. I would really be dope. I really love to see Slade. I would really love to see like Deathstroke to be, their villain, and just seeing him to the point of Deadpool with the swords and stuff like that. And I would want to see like how would they, adaptate their different powers in the anime setting. I think they can really get creative with Beast Boy. I feel like Starfire, I think the darkness of Raven, they can really get active with too. Cyborg, I think would be really cool to see him animated as long as they don't do no bullshit. But yeah, I think Teen Titans would be really dope anime.
Okay. Cool. That's it for the question portion of the show. Let's get into our likes and dislikes and our rating for this week for 1 through 4. Go ahead, Ice.
Oh, he raised your hand. What's up?
No, you got it. Go ahead.
Go
No, you got it. Go ahead, Ice.
What I liked about it, I like the fact that I can just watch some X-Men. It's been a long time since I've seen anything really X-Men. I think after X2, and they just shit the bed for a long time, and I know, they did well with Logan, and that the Wolverine series, but I think that I just was really turned off on X-Men for a very, very long time because of just how terrible the movies got. So I think this was really my first time diving back into X-Men, and it was just cool to see my favorite characters, Wolverine and seeing Storm. Obviously, I'm not a fan of Cyclops or not a really Beast Boy guy, but just to see Wolverine and Storm, I think was cool. And it just to be in any type of Marvel universe and watching it was really fun. To that point, what I hated the most is how nerfed everybody was. Outside of Cyclops, everybody else was fucking nerfed. More specifically, Storm. Since when the disrespect that they putting on Storm name right now is atrocious. I hate it. I hate it. Like that made me so mad because knowing X-Men, we know the power level of Storm and how active she can get. And for that dude for them to not only nerf her to the point where she getting tired after an attack, but to the point where the world even noticed she weak. For the dude to say like, bro, you won't even power a light bulb. I was like, yo, the disrespect is out of control. And I even texted Rob like, bro, what? Why did they play her out like that? Like, yeah, it was disrespectful. You can see that this is a Cyclops show, and I'm not a fan of that at all. This is they're the X-Men for the reason. Cyclops can carry a team in the battlefield, but he cannot carry a show, and it's just is not bad. I think Cyclops is trying to win the Simp Award. He's trying to, fight Ganta and Shinji for the Bitch Award. As far as he gets after it, but at the same time, he's crying damn near every scene. Like he's giving me season 1 of My Hero Deku vibes, like with how he goes about all this fucking crying in the middle of battle. Overall, it's okay. The show's going, the episode's going pretty quick is his best benefit because it's like, okay, I do want to see what happens next because I don't feel like I'm like bored or losing my mind watching it. Overall, I'll give it a 5,800.
Brennan?
My favorite thing was just like, I think similar to Ice is the general just like really getting back into it with the X-Men because some of my greatest memories as a kid were watching X-Men when I got home from like school, like like eating home after you got home. I was just like, this is it. This is a peak.
Yeah, it was the peak.
It was right. Yeah, I mean I'll say that. And the jokes, like the little side jokes were just like, you can't light a light bulb. Oh, like even though
and that's it.
Yeah, the jokes are pretty funny. I think that my least favorite parts were two things. Obviously, that fight with Wolverine and the fight thing. Like, I don't even know what the fuck happened there. And the second thing is that, like, what really bothers me about this show is I can't deal with the dialogue in this show. It's some of the worst written dialogue I've ever said. It's like, I've never thought about dialogue writing before. Like, really thought about it until now. And I'm just like, yo, this show made me think about it because the things these people are saying don't really fit the situation. Like, it's like pushing the plot forward forcefully. It's just like, you can tell that, like, it's just, I just felt like there's so many scenes where I'm just like, oh, I'm just cringing while I'm watching it. I'm just like, this is garbage. Like, this writing is really bad. Like these guys, like the things they're saying to each other, I'm just like, this is so unentertaining. I'm not entertained. Like, I just don't care.
Like what?
Even like one of the last scenes when they're like, I knew you were gonna say like what? It's pretty much everything, to be fully honest. But if you just like everything is an exposition. Like everything they said is like, this hero's like, I'm gonna do this to you. Aha! I have these magnets for you, Wolverine. I mean, it's just like everything they said was either an exposition or an attempt at being entertaining, and none of it entertained me. Like I know specific. I'm trying to think like one of the last scenes. There's like
that's anime though. Anime does that in every anime.
Anime is entertaining though. Like this was not. Like I'm just saying. Like it just to me, it just. I've never thought about it. Like I said, I've never once mentioned dialogue in any of the shows that we've watched. None of them. In this show, I was like, yo, this dialogue was rough. And so I stand by that. And like, I probably should have given examples, but it didn't really hit me until today. Like when I was really thinking back to it, like, well, last night when I was watching that last episode, and there was that scene with Wolverine and the little girl and all that, or even like the scene with the Beast and stuff that just didn't make sense. But just what they were talking about in that room, I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about right now? Like, what does this have to do with anything? And then somebody will say the line, okay, let's go do this thing that had nothing to do with the conversation. Like, what? So either way, when we watch the next...
I think at one point that was weird from a dialogue perspective. Now that I think about it, is like when they were sitting there, and it's like they kept saying the same thing over and over. You have to come back to New York. Oh, you going to New York? Yeah, we're going to New York. Hey,
Yeah,
what's over in New
exactly
York? Oh, my
that.
lab is in New York. You want to go to New
Exactly.
York? Like, how many fucking times y'all going to talk about going to New York? You just have the same person. I mean, different people say the same thing over and over.
Yeah, it's just like the acting in the sense of like the direction to the actors and the writing. It feels like the voice actors were trying to give it life, but it's like they knew, it's like, I don't know how to empathize or be this character in this moment, because these choices they're making and the things they're saying don't make sense. And I got that feeling a lot watching it. And so for me, that made it really hard to get through. Like, I was happy that I agree with Ice. It did go fast because the episodes are short. But at the same time, like when they got after it, the fighting wasn't really that impressive. Some of the animations were, like obviously Cyclops' animations were fantastic. But other than that, I'm just like, I just didn't give a fuck. And that's why I stopped watching it after the second episode when I first started watching this, because I was just like, it wasn't even like a conscious thing. I just stopped watching it. I was just like, that's what happens to me. It's like, I watched I think I stopped watching halfway through the second episode, and then I just moved on to something else. And it wasn't like, fuck this show, I hate it. It was more like, I just don't care. And so that's what this whole show is for me, is I just don't care. Thus far.
And I feel like stuff like that is worse, because at least shit that's trash evoke emotion. Like, if you just don't care, it's just like...
Yeah, so 5,000.
Jeez.
I liked about the show was I like the comedy, like Wolverine when he had to walk through the metal detector.
Yeah, that was
He was
funny.
like, we don't know what's wrong. He had his shirt off. He's like, lady, like, look, it's not a watch, it's not a belt. Like, so the comedy made me laugh a few times. I like Wolverine getting after it. So I'm glad they didn't. To me, you said they toned everybody down. I don't think they toned Wolverine down at all.
No, they didn't.
I think he was turned up pretty much. He did everything that he does in all the shows. He turned up all the way. The least favorite thing that I like is same as Ice, because I feel like for some reason the women in X-Men in general, they always kind of like dumb them down. It's like they always use their power and they go and they faint out the airs with shit like that. Because even in the X-Men cartoon, there's been times when Storm passed out also with using her powers, but she passed out when she went extreme. Like, you see her get the whole fucking storm going, and she goes crazy. Then she'll pass out. This one is like she'll bring up some ice a little bit, and all of a sudden, okay, that's all I pretty much got. It's like, what the fuck are y'all doing, man? So that pissed me off too. I agree with that 100%. Ice. That's the same feeling that I had. But overall, I mean, I didn't have necessarily, like you said, I was watching this, and I was just like, when I was rewatching this, I was like, okay, like this is still not bad to me. Like, I know they started to get after it in later episodes. So I know kind of what's to come, but I would say for me, I'll give it overall a 6,000. Because I feel like it's going to get better, and they're just filling some holes right now, and then it's going to get to the meat of the story. Rob?
Yeah, actually, I had a question. Brennan, are you watching sub or dub?
Dub.
Dub? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm watching the sub. I didn't really have any issues with the dialogue. I thought it was fine. It didn't really stand out to me one way or the other. There's definitely logic problems on the show. Things that stood out to me where I'm just like, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Like Emma Frost saying like, oh, well, the parents tried to get their daughter, over at the Xavier school, but you were closed. And then when their daughter goes missing, they fucking call the Xavier school, and Professor X is like, hello, yeah, we're here. We'll come find your daughter, no problem. So I'm like, how does that work out? Doesn't make any sense. So
That's pretty funny.
There's some things like that are on the show. My least favorite part is probably the because that's like that aside. My least favorite part was probably the fight with Wolverine and the mutant out on the plane. Like I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah,
I watched it back like
headache.
2 or 3 times, and it was impossible to track the action. For me, that was the worst part. What I did like, yeah, it's just cool to be in like the Marvel world. I'm a big Marvel fan. I'm like, it's the X-Men. Like this is them. I always kind of felt like they were always like, I know we were talking about like, it's like a soap opera. Like in all actuality, like most superhero stuff is just like, soap operas with punching. Like they solve their problems with punching. That's basically the difference. And for me, X-Men always kind of felt like the closest to that. And this kind of it feels like that. And it's easy. It's like, I get the world. I know what we're talking about. And I wonder if maybe that's why it's so exposition-y, is like maybe in Japan, like they're not as well known. So they got to be like, this is who they are. And, set those things. So, but yeah, I mean, I was all right. Like, kind of like you were saying, Keenan, like I don't love it. I'm enjoying watching it. Like when I'm just like, all right, cool. Like when that was over, I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I could watch another one. Like that. It's easy watching for me.
Are you defending your pick right now, Rob?
No, because I mean, I'm saying like it's all right. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it a 5,800 as well. Actually, that's kind of what I was thinking before I came onto the show. Because like I said, there's problems, but I don't know. I enjoy it. It's all right. Like I don't love it. It's obviously not a 9,000 for me, but I don't have some of the bigger problems that I think Brennan has had with it.
Is Brennan's 5,000 plausible to you, or is he tripping?
I mean, I haven't seen the dub. Because we've said before, sometimes the dub just doesn't translate as well. And when it comes to the voice acting, because I mean, I've watched some videos on like how they even do that. And they sometimes have to change the dialogue so that they can match like the lip flaps and stuff. And sometimes that can work out to be some like really awkward stuff. Watching the sub, that hasn't been an issue for me. Like just reading it, the dialogue hasn't come across as super ham-fisted. Actually, one other thing I thought they got pretty dark pretty fast. Like that kid coming out and being like transformed, and they're like, kill this guy. Like I was like, all right, I wasn't expecting it to go there so quick, and it did. So, but no, I think a lot of your points are valid. Like I don't get why Storm is fainting either. I didn't really think that was a thing she did. And, I'm definitely a Storm fan. Like she'd be in my top 3, top 5, X-Men characters for sure. So yeah, no, I'll give it a 5,800 so far. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay. Well, let us know what y'all think in the comment section. Answer all the questions, of course, like we always ask. Give us y'all scores. Y'all want to drop y'all handles?
Sure.
The long pause.
Yeah, I was like, we should go home.
You made it so far into the episode.
But the end of the show, he always fucks up. So
he has to buffer something.
No. I felt like when I say that, sometimes y'all somebody would jump in and just say their. But go ahead.
Just go right into it.
Go ahead, buffer, bro. It's fine.
It's a buffer, bro.
Buffer Baker.
Buffer Baker. See, damn, he just made your joke better.
Alliteration.
Follow me on. One thing I do want to say, I don't have any shout outs, but I do want to acknowledge this because I really like this guy a lot. R.I.P. MF Doom, great rapper. Yeah, right. R.I.P.
What do you mean, yeah, right?
Such a great rapper. He passed this last year in October, but then they told us like the 29th or the 30th or something like that. So RIP to him, condolences to his family. And you can follow me on Instagram, ice.mcgowan.
Okay, Rob?
RV Danger on Instagram.
Brennan?
At Brennan the Best on the gram.
At Brennan the fucking best. Keenan Baker on every single thing, Animeshun podcast and everything, and Cash App. Give a shout out to Sir 2 Wavy. Donated to the Cash App, man. Appreciate you, brother. For looking
thank
out. You. Do some dollars in there for your boys.
The Among Us guy.
Yeah. So I appreciate that, man. So yeah, hit that Animeshun podcast Cash App, so we can start doing some more stuff, because that money that ain't going for us just to eat food. That's just gonna go to us to get some stuff done.
We hungry too.
Sketches and shit like that.
The shit we got coming, fam.
So thank y'all everything, and thank y'all for tuning in every week, for tuning in to another episode of Animeshun. Squad is back.
And so anime was solved forever.